Oh, okay, a little lesson in lighting. Jeez, why is that? See my hand? Little lesson in lighting, a quickie. Window light is the best lighting. But as you get into my age group, I'm 72, you can see the lines on my face, they start becoming more pronounced and obvious. And what causes those lines to be visible is light coming in and forming a shadow here. Less of one here because the light's coming in from this direction, so you don't see the line here as clearly. And there's lines on my forehead because I worry too much about about the past. Well, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about the past, huh? Try to move on. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's what I was trying to. I was trying to remember the name of that movie the other day, and I was like, sunshine in the mind, beautiful sunshine of the mind, through the mind, from the mind, the mind. Anyway, yeah, if I could pluck the memory of one or two things or a person out of my mind, I'd be signing up for that probably at any price, any price. Anyway, it is, I just did a video, it is, what the hell date is it? June 7th, 2023, and it's about 9 o'clock, yeah, a little bit after 9 o'clock in the morning. There's my clock in the back, see that clock there? And that's my dark hallway to the door, out of here. That's the door to the hallway. So this is my efficiency apartment. That's a hallway and a storage area in this dark area here. And then this is the kitchen. You can see the refrigerator, I think, just on that side. And my sink is over here. And there's my trash can. I need another trash can. That thing's too small. There's my FW-190 print. I love that airplane, just the design of it. That's a Matisse over there. I think it's a Matisse. No, I think it might be a Manet. I'm not sure. It's a print, obviously. Do I wish I had the original? That's an original. See the trees in the forest there? That's Hamilton Aguilar. And he did a series of these things that were just incredible. And then his career just went off the rails. He went into, it's kind of like Fleetwood Mac and their first two albums, I think, that were like blockbuster albums. The first one was just an eponymous Fleetwood Mac, and then the next one was Rumors. And the Rumors album at the beginning sold 200,000 copies a week. And then they came out with Tusk, which was a bomb. It still went platinum, but because of the Fleetwood Mac name. Last Tango in Paris, I think, is the album that the song Big Love is on. And that's my favorite song of the group, is Big Love. Although Stevie Nicks' Dreams, that is right there with a close second. But Big Love by Lindsey Buckingham, and the live version of that where he's solo, completely solo, with an acoustic guitar, and he gets a standing ovation, and he gets an ovation in the middle of the song. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, and you get an ovation in the middle of the song, that's an extra special complimentary thing. It really is. You think about it. And when I listen to like the album, Four-Way Street, with Neil Young, Steve Stills, Graham Nash, and Dave Crosby. Well, there are only two of them that got an ovation in the middle of the song. And that was Steve Stills and Neil Young. And I'm not, Graham Nash is a great creative talent, performing talent as far as his voice is concerned. I just don't think he had the writing skills that Stills and Young had from Buffalo Springfield. Can you imagine if Buffalo Springfield stayed together all these years? Neil Young would never do that. But that would have been, I think that the drummer and the bass player might have lived longer, maybe, I don't know. But Buffalo Springfield, man, that was a unique, amazing band. They were together 2 years. Amazing. So what am I talking about this morning? I'm talking about Tesla and Elon Musk, okay? I know you guys are sick of it. However, think about where Elon Musk is right now. Do you know where he is? He is in Mongolia. First of all, he went to China, right? And he's reaffirming his, and strengthening and reaffirming his relationship with the Chinese, which is a beautiful thing, and why our country is so hostile and belligerent to China is beyond me. I watched RFK Jr. in an interview yesterday. He was talking about the war in the Ukraine, and we're on the verge of war with China, and he says it's insane. And I totally agree with it. It's insane. What are we doing going to the other side of the planet, telling people how they should live and what kind of governments they should have? That's got to be their deal. That's their gig, not ours. Okay? I mean, we'll trade with China, and we'll trade with Formosa, Taiwan, and we'll trade with Japan. But when it comes to the kind of government that they're going to have, and the kind of, you know, the kind of structure that they're going to have in their society and in their government, what in the hell are we doing? Threatening China with war because they want Taiwan back in the fold. I mean, it's hypocrisy. And RFK Jr. points that out in a podcast that I watched yesterday, and the guy is just brilliant. There's so many warmongers. Like Donald Trump is like saying, yeah, man, America, make America great again. We're going to go out and we're going to cut off the immigrants. Okay, your parents were, your lineage can be traced back to immigration too, Donald. Everybody's here can, except for maybe Native Americans. They might have migrated here from Alaska or Russia, we don't know. But to demonize somebody just because they're immigrants, you're forgetting about their humanity. You know, the way our country has turned around since Rump came along, it's sickening, really is. Really sickening. I can understand the the disappointment with government, but politicians only reflect their constituency, and all the politicians care about is getting reelected, and so they'll say anything to get reelected. Like look at Klan mom Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bobo Boebert. Those are two intelligent people, though, and if they just wouldn't get caught up in this like us against them tribal bullshit, which has plagued our species for millennia and millennia, and realize that, like RFK realized, he said if he's president, he's going to be debating and engaging Congress. That's what you should do as president. That's what Congress should do. They should welcome the president in to debate, not to vilify or demonize, the person that's on the other aisle from you and is a citizen of the same country as you. Why? I'll tell you one thing. I could go in there immediately, even with Klan mom and Bobo, and find things that we have in common. Well, that's a good place to start. Find things that you have in common. Well, what do you have in common? You don't have anything in common. Okay, well, let's see. How about protecting our children? You really want that. I know Republicans really want that. Gun fanatics. This guy I follow, Hansen, the former CIA agent, he's a good person. He's a good human being. I'm convinced of that. I don't agree with his love of guns. He came up through the military. He was a policeman, and then he went to the CIA. But I believe he's a good and decent human being. And as such, that's the person that can lead, the compromise of filtering out the wackos from owning guns. He's not a wacko. Could he turn into one? Who knows? We don't know. Any of us could turn into a wacko, I think, but I couldn't. I could only kill in defense of myself or my family. Other than that, or defense of somebody I know is a good human being, that's being robbed or threatened. Anyway, we have the capacity to be better than we are, and RFK talks about that. He talks about his uncle JFK. Man, that guy was amazing. JFK. He was against war. Here's a quote from JFK that I never heard until yesterday. He said the number one responsibility of a president is to not get into a war. How about that? Wow. How about that? Now, if you have to, like Pearl Harbor, there's no way out of that except for an all-out war. But Vietnam, oh, God almighty, what a horrible mistake. And then the Iraq War over weapons of mass destruction they didn't have. Hussein was an awful, evil guy and a tyrant and a murderer. But does that mean that we can go over there and instill and tell those people what kind of government they should have? Don't do it. It never works. It never works. Anyway, so Elon Musk went to China and had a love fest, a love-in with the Chinese, and that's a beautiful thing. And by the way, going back to JFK, his speech at American University was really an epic speech that will stand out for multiple generations, along the lines of a Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln. That speech at American University And I think it was 2 weeks after that speech he was killed in Dallas. But if you listen to that speech, it's on YouTube. It's amazing. He talks from, he asks Americans, after the Cuban Missile Crisis and how close we came to a nuclear war, he asked Americans to put themselves in the shoes of the Russians that went through the kind of destruction in World War II. If you were to put that on a scale in America, the entire east coast of America would be wiped out, and then